Good evening and welcome to today's broadcast. Our top story tonight centers on the high-stakes showdown in Washington as the United States stares down the possibility of a government shutdown at the end of the month. With just days left before the September 30th deadline, President Donald Trump sat down with Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in an attempt to strike a deal that could keep federal agencies open and critical services funded. The talks are tense, with Democrats insisting on protecting healthcare programs and reversing cuts that have been proposed, while the White House is pressing its own priorities. Millions of Americans could feel the impact if Congress and the president fail to reach an agreement, with furloughs, delayed payments, and disruption of everyday government services hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, all eyes are on New York City, where President Trump returned to the world stage today at the United Nations General Assembly. His speech was one of the most anticipated of this year's gathering. In his remarks, Trump denounced what he called the failures of globalist institutions, declaring that America will no longer bow to what he described as international bureaucracies that don't serve U.S. interests. He positioned the United States as the defender of Western civilization and emphasized national sovereignty as his administration's guiding principle. It was a defiant tone that drew both sharp criticism from world leaders who favor multilateral cooperation and applause from those who share a more nationalist view. The address came at a moment of heightened tension, not only in the Middle East, but across global markets and alliances. That brings us to a developing international story with sweeping consequences. A growing number of countries, including France, the United Kingdom, and Canada, have officially recognized a Palestinian state. This unprecedented wave of recognition comes as the conflict in Gaza continues to devastate the region, with hospitals crippled by fuel shortages and tens of thousands of casualties reported. Humanitarian groups warn the situation is spiraling into catastrophe. The United States, alongside Israel, has opposed these moves, arguing they undermine peace talks, but the momentum abroad suggests a shift in the global consensus. How the U.S. responds in the coming days will have major implications for its diplomatic standing and for the prospects of peace in the region. Back at home, controversy erupted over the administration's handling of public health guidance. The White House issued a statement suggesting pregnant women should limit their use of acetaminophen, commonly known as Tylenol, citing unproven links to autism. Medical experts immediately pushed back, calling the claims misleading and harmful. Leading scientists stressed that there is no conclusive evidence supporting such a connection, and warned that spreading misinformation could cause unnecessary fear and even prevent people from taking safe medication. This clash between politics and science is fueling debate about how health policy should be shaped, and whether scientific accuracy is being overshadowed by ideology. Adding to today's news, President Trump signed an executive order officially designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. The decision follows the recent killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, an event that has roiled the political landscape. Supporters of the move say it is long overdue and necessary to combat extremism. Critics warn it opens the door to broad crackdowns on political dissent and sets a dangerous precedent for labeling groups based on ideology rather than actions. Legal experts predict a flurry of court challenges, while civil liberties groups argue the designation could erode fundamental rights. And beyond politics, markets across the globe are reacting to these developments. Investors are keeping a close watch on the fallout from U.S. foreign policy shifts and the broader economic climate. Asian markets are buoyed by optimism around artificial intelligence and technology demand, but geopolitical risks remain a looming shadow. Traders are bracing for volatility as the world digests America's new direction under Trump's second term and the international community weighs its response. These are the headlines shaping our world today. A looming shutdown that could rattle the nation. A fiery UN speech that may redefine America's role abroad. Growing recognition of a Palestinian state. Heated disputes over science and public health. And the far-reaching impact of labeling Antifa as terrorists. We will continue to follow every development closely. For now, that's your news update. Thanks for joining us, and as always, stay tuned for the latest from around the globe. You're watching Daily News Drops.